You didn't threaten anyone. You didn't commit a crime. But now law enforcement is at your door saying, we need you to hand over your firearms. Instantly, your brain goes into survival mode. Do you comply to keep things calm, or do you refuse and risk getting arrested? Because here's the terrifying part. In that moment, you can lose your guns even if you did nothing wrong, simply by saying the wrong thing, opening the wrong door, or agreeing to the wrong quick look. I'm John Cannon, a criminal defense attorney here in Oklahoma, and I've seen too many good people lose firearms for months and sometimes longer because they didn't know one key truth. Police can ask for your guns even when they don't have the legal authority to take them. So in this video, I'm going to give you a clear playbook for exactly when law enforcement can and can't seize your guns in Oklahoma. I'm not just going to explain it, I'm going to give you word-for-word lines to use at the moment so you don't freeze, you don't escalate, and you don't accidentally waive your rights. Quick note, this is general information, not legal advice for your specific situation. If you're dealing with this right now, talk to a criminal defense attorney in your area. Now let's start with the most common trap. When can police legally take your guns? Let's simplify this into a decision tree. Most of the time, police in Oklahoma can't just come into your home or car and take guns because they feel like it. They need legal authority. In general, guns get seized in 4 situations. You're being arrested and the firearm is on or within your reach. The firearm is evidence in an investigation. They have a search warrant that allows seizure, or they have a court order restricting possession, like certain protective orders. That's it. Those are the big 4 lanes. Now here's where people get wrecked. Police show up without a warrant or court order and they don't say, we're seizing your guns. They say something softer. They say, we just need to secure them for everyone's safety. Can you hand them to me for now? Let's not make this complicated. That's when viewers need to remember this rule. If they're asking, you still have control. If they had clear authority, they would usually be telling, not asking you. If there's no arrest, no warrant, no court order, and the gun isn't evidence, be very careful about helpful cooperation. Now, let's talk about the single biggest reason guns get taken away in Oklahoma. 2, the consent trap. Most gun seizures don't happen because someone got outplayed by the law. They happen because someone gave consent. Here's how it sounds in real life. Traffic stop. Mind if I take a look in your car? At your door. Can we step inside and talk? In your garage. Do you have anything we should know about? These aren't casual questions. Those are calculated legal shortcuts. Because if you say yes and they find something they don't like, even if it's not illegal, they can turn your day into a long, expensive mess. Even if you've never been charged, firearms can end up sitting in property for a long time. So here's the clean, calm line. Officer, I don't consent to any searches. Then stop talking. Not angry, not sarcastic, not emotional. Just calm and clear. That's the mindset. Here's the rule. Shut up and lawyer up. Now this is important. If they search anyway, do not resist. Do not argue. Do not touch them. Just repeat the line and let your lawyer fight it later. Here's a quick role play. Officer says, just pop the trunk. If you've got nothing to hide, it's fine. You, I understand and I do not consent to any searches. Officer, why are you being difficult? Your response, I'm not trying to be difficult. I just don't consent to any searches. Officer, so you're refusing a lawful order? Your response, I'm not consenting to a search. Am I being detained? See the difference? You're not arguing law. You're not accusing. You're not escalating. You're just not taking the bait to help the cop build a case against you. I had a client, we'll call him Mike, pulled over for a broken taillight. The officer noticed he was legally carrying and tried to pressure him to hand it over for safety. Mike stayed calm, stayed respectful, and didn't consent to any extra steps. The situation de-escalated and was over. So let's recap. Be polite, be calm, don't confuse politeness for permission, and remember the rule, shut up and lawyer up. Now, let's say a scenario that flips the rule fast and catches lots of people off guard. Number 3, protective orders and we're here to collect. Protective orders are one of the biggest reasons people suddenly get the knock on the door. Here's how it plays out. Someone files a protective order for an ex, a family member, or a neighbor. A judge signs a temporary emergency protective order, then officers show up saying, we're here to collect your firearms. If that's happening, your number 1 job is don't turn it into a new criminal case. Do not argue on the porch. Do not physically block the officer. Do not try to explain your way out while emotions are high, because the fastest way to lose your guns and your freedom is to let that moment turn into a confrontation. Instead, handle this in a place where it actually matters, later in court. What to do immediately? Read the paperwork. The moment you're served, find the hearing date. Call an attorney who understands firearm consequences and protective orders. Show up to the hearing prepared, because here's the truth. A lot of people lose at the protective order stage because they don't show up. And if you don't show, the order often becomes final by default. Checkpoint recap. If a protective order is involved, your best move is early action and a court strategy, not a porch argument with the cops. Keep it calm, keep it brief, shut up, and lawyer up. Now, let's talk about the boring stuff that will save you thousands of dollars later. Number 4, documentation and storage. Stop the maybe stolen excuse. Even when someone is legally allowed to possess firearms, I hear the same justifications over and over when police take them. We thought it might be stolen. We were concerned about safe storage. We're just holding it until we sort things out. So you want to make ownership and responsibility obvious. Here are the practical steps. Store firearms in a locked safe or use a trigger lock. 2, keep receipts or bills of sale when possible. 3, photograph the make, model, and serial number, and store those records securely, including an encrypted cloud storage so you can access them anywhere if you need them. 4, don't casually lend guns to people you don't trust. Why does this matter? Because if police take guns, getting them back is often a paperwork nightmare. Paperwork wins battles. I've seen cases where people had no records, no serial number, no proof. So everything takes longer and sometimes property doesn't come back. So here's a checkpoint recap. The more organized you are, the less room there is for "we're not sure whose this is." Now let's say the worst happens and they take them anyway. Here's the move that protects you next. Number 5, if they take them, get the receipt. If police seize firearms during arrest, during a warrant, based on a court order, you want a clean paper trail. You say, "Can I get a property receipt for everything you've taken?" You want that receipt to list make, model, and serial number, because without that, you're stuck in the he said, she said. Property rooms are busy, mistakes happen, items get transferred, records get messy, and when the paper trail is weak, your ability to fight for return of your property gets less likely to succeed. Here's a quick example. I've had clients go to retrieve property from law enforcement after the case is resolved or dismissed and find something missing. The receipt is what created accountability. So here's a checkpoint recap. No receipt equals no leverage on the cops. Now, the final rule is the one that keeps people from talking themselves into big trouble. Number 6, stay calm, shut up, and lawyer up. When police are demanding guns, your instinct screams to explain, justify, or prove you're the good guy. It's human nature. Don't. This is not the time to win an argument. This is the moment to protect your future. Breathe and use a short sentence. Calm voice, repeatable lines. Here are the 3 lines I want you to remember. 1, I don't consent to any searches. 2, am I being detained? 3, I want to speak to my lawyer before answering any questions. That's it. You're not admitting guilt. You're not being difficult. You're creating a boundary. If this is happening in real time, you call a lawyer now, not later, because the earlier you involve your counsel, the more options you usually have. So here's the playbook. Know the 4 lanes that allow seizure, avoid the consent trap, take protective orders seriously and early, and document and store firearms responsibly. Always get the receipt, and when things get tense, breathe, stay calm, stop talking, and remember the rule we started with: shut up and lawyer up. That's how people lose guns, not by getting outplayed, but by giving permission or saying too much to the cops. Now, if you think you might have a warrant issue or you're worried an arrest could happen at any time, your next moves matter. That's why you need to watch the next video. Warrants for your arrest. Do this to stay out of jail. This is urgent, and what you do next can make all the difference. Click to watch now. That's where this continues for your better future.